Hi everybody. In this video we are going to talk about more details regarding HTML, how to write HTML code, what is the structure of HTML, and also how to use Visual Studio Code, which is a free web development web editor that allows us to write code for free. So before we begin, let's imagine a situation. You are a new developer at the company and you have been given a task with 4 bullet points that you need to finish. So first of all, you need to create a simple HTML page with no styles, so just a simple plain HTML page which is going to be used later on. Then at the top of the page your boss needs a heading with the page title, and also they need a small disclaimer. Number 3 is that page needs to have some random content with 3 paragraphs and subheadings above each paragraph. And inside the page we also need to have 2 images. So you say, okay, I will complete this task, but as a beginner you do not know even where to start. First thing you need to do is actually visit code.visualstudio.com and download the Visual Studio Code editor. This will help you write code very quickly and much easier than writing it in a plain document like Notepad. Okay, now that you have hopefully installed your Visual Studio Code editor, we can continue working on our task. So first we need to create a new HTML page. And in order to solve this problem, we are going to use a new window in Visual Studio Code. So you can open up your program, and as you can see, it is just a regular editor, text editor, but it is more specified for web development rather than writing the regular text. So if we go here and I just open a folder, I will navigate to the desktop and actually create a new folder here. And I can call it work 1. So in work 1, we are going to have our project files and create our first HTML page. So you click here, yes, I trust the authors. This is a new feature showing a security feature in Visual Studio Code. Now that that one is out of the way, we can actually create a new file in this work folder, which is being placed here now. As you can see, we have multiple options. We can create a new file or new folder, which is useful if you want to keep specific files in folders. For example, we might want to have a folder containing images for our project and folder containing fonts or something else. But first, let's create a new HTML page. How do we do that in Visual Studio Code? We create a new file and we can call it new page.html. As you can see, Visual Studio Code is very smart software, so it already created the icon showcasing HTML5 because we put this format here, and we have a blank HTML page. And if I go here and navigate to this page and I open it up in Chrome, I can see it's an empty page. There is nothing here yet. So we need to start creating our HTML page so that we can then populate that HTML page with other stuff. For this, we need to create the empty HTML structure, and this is very easy to do, and most of the time it is being automated by software like Visual Studio Code. But for the learning purposes, we are going to write each line here and show you the structure of the HTML page.
The first thing that we need to tell the browser is actually what type of the document we are serving to the browser. And we're serving the HTML document. So we need to write on our first line, we need to write something that is called the doc type declaration, which is so short for document type declaration. So if you write a doc type, and you can write this in lowercase, but the standard in web development is to actually write it in the capital case. And this doc type declaration has one attribute, and you need to specify which type of the document your web page is, and that is HTML. So you close this HTML tag, which is with these brackets, and there you have your first line of HTML page. So this is not enough for the web browser to render anything actually. This just tells the browser that, hey, we are loading HTML page, and the next information is also vital for us to provide as a developer to the browser, and that is the HTML tag. And HTML tag is not a self-closing tag, which means that you cannot just close it like this. It means that you need to have a closing tag, which looks like this. And this is something that you will learn eventually while working in HTML, that some tags need to be closed separately, like this, and whatever you place between these two opening and closing tags will be shown as a partial unit of that web page. And some HTML tags are self-closing, and we will get to those eventually as well. But that's just something that you need to remember at this moment, that some HTML tags need to be closed separately and some are self-closing. But as some tags are used for showing the content of our web page, the other types of tags, like the head tag, which is something we will write here, and again we need to close the head tag as well. Whatever you place in this HTML tag will be used by web browsers to provide additional information about your web page, but it will not be shown to the users. What will be shown to the users is whatever you place in the body tag, which also needs to be closed separately. So you can think of this as visual representation of your web page. Whatever you place inside of these tags will be shown to the users, and this is more like additional information to the web browser, something that will give more explanation about your web page to the software.
Since we need to provide additional information to the browser engines and other web services, for those purposes we are going to use meta tags. Meta tags provide the metadata or additional information about our web page to those web services, and they're not visible to the users, to the content of the web page. Meta tags are self-closing tags, and that means that you do not need to close them with additional HTML tag like you use it for other HTML tags like body and head. What they accept are the attributes. And HTML attributes are how we specify additional information for that particular HTML tag. They come in key value pairs. For example, here we are using charset and we are giving it a value of UTF-8, which is a pretty standard way of using this meta tag. The charset attribute actually specifies the character encoding for the HTML document that we are using on this web page. That means that the browser will use a specific set of characters when loading our HTML document. Most of the time you will copy and paste this part of the code automatically, but it is a good idea to just go through it and understand what it means. Now, we can place HTML attributes to other HTML tags. For example, here I will place lang attribute, and its value is EN, which stands for English. And the HTML page will be using English language. So this tells more to the web browser about our document. Now you cannot place attributes in the closing tags like this. This is the invalid HTML. So you can only place HTML attributes to the opening tags. Now let's use another meta tag to give you more examples. Here we are going to use the meta tag again, but we are going to use a different attribute to give even more information about our web page. And this meta tag is going to use the attribute called name, and we're going to specify the value of this name attribute to viewport. And what this tells the browser is how to scale our web page on the initial load. So should it be zoomed in? How much width should the document take? And so on. So we need additional attribute for this viewport name. We need the content, and I'm placing the width device equals device width, which means that the document will take as much space as the device we are using lets us, and that could be a mobile device, tablet device, or desktop device, or something else. And the initial scale value should be equal to 1.0. That means that the page should be loaded in its initial scale and not zoomed in. If we would to place number 2.0 or 3, the page would load on the initial refresh, the page would load zoomed in. So this tells the browser to use the basic scaling for our web page. This is the proper example for you to see how the HTML attributes are affecting our HTML tags. And there are a lot of attributes that you can use throughout the rest of the project.
And what is being shown to the users is everything that we place in the body tags. So let's save this now and check our web page to see how it looks. And if you're confused how we managed to open this part here, it's pretty easy. If you load your web page and you go to right click and press inspect, you will load this HTML code that is actually being used by the browser. And it is a great way for you as a developer to actually see what is happening behind the scenes and how your code works. As you can see, here is the doc type declaration that we wrote. Here is the HTML opening and closing tabs, and with the lang attribute and our head, tag is using these have these meta tags nested in. One last thing that we need to place in the head tag is the title of the page, because if you look here, you will see that the title of our web page is called new page.html, and this is just a bad user experience. You do not want users to read the file name. You want to have the title of your web page here, shown at the top of your tab. And it is also useful to give the browser more information about your web page. So we need to introduce a new tag here, and that one is called the title tag. Title tag is not self-closing, so that means that we need to close it with the closing tag. And here we can place something called my first web page. Okay, if I save this now, this will be shown in the top of our browser as the title tag. Here you go, my first web page. But it's not the only purpose of this tag. You also give additional information to the browser that, hey, this is what my page is about, it's the title of the page. And do not confuse this with the title that is going to be shown here. This is not the heading that we are going to place in the part 2 of our task. This is just what we are telling the browser to load here and just to give additional information about the web page. Okay, we have everything ready now, and we can proceed with placing tags in our body tag. So our first task is completed.